10 feet. Every basketball hoop on Earth sits exactly 10 feet above the floor. School gyms, public parks, the biggest arenas in the world, 10 feet everywhere for more than a century. So who worked it out? Which committee measured the human body, tested the arc of a jump, and decided that 10 feet was the perfect height? Nobody. It is the height of a railing in a gymnasium in Massachusetts, and it was chosen by a man carrying 2 peach baskets who was in a hurry. In December 1891, a Canadian physical education instructor called James Naismith was given a problem. Winter in Springfield, Massachusetts. A class of restless young men, stuck indoors, bored of gymnastics, and increasingly difficult to handle. His supervisor gave him 14 days to invent something. A new indoor game, something to burn off the energy of a long winter. Naismith thought about the games he knew. Nearly all of them ran on force. A ball thrown hard at a goal and bodies crashing into each other to stop it. Indoors, on a wooden floor, that would end in broken bones. So he made one decision that shaped everything that followed. He put the goal above the players. If the target is over your head, you cannot fire the ball at it. You have to loft it, gently, with touch. Suddenly, the strongest man in the room has no advantage at all. Now he needed something to aim at. He asked the building superintendent for 2 boxes. The man came back with 2 peach baskets. Naismith nailed them to the lower rail of the running track that circled the gymnasium. That balcony rail happened to be 10 feet from the floor. Not chosen, not calculated, just where the building put it. He typed up 13 rules, pinned them to the notice board, and split 18 students into 2 teams of 9. The first game finished 1-0, and the baskets still had their bottoms in. Every time somebody scored, a man on a ladder had to climb up and fetch the ball out. That is the origin of the most iconic number in the sport, a railing height and a fruit basket. So why has nobody changed it? Because the players changed enormously, and the hoop did not. The men in that first game were mostly under 6 feet tall. 10 feet was genuinely out of reach. Getting the ball into that basket was hard for everybody. Today, professional players are routinely well over 2 meters, with a standing reach that already gets close to the rim. Which raises an obvious question. Should the hoop go up? It has been tried. In the 1950s, American college basketball ran experimental games with 12-foot baskets. The professional league tried it too, in a match in 1954. The verdict was almost unanimous. It looked wrong. Shooting percentages collapsed. Rebounds came off the rim at strange, unpredictable angles. Players who had spent their whole lives calibrating one distance suddenly could not judge anything. The game did not become harder in an interesting way. It became scrappier and less accurate, because 10 feet turns out to sit in a genuinely lucky place. It is high enough that an ordinary player has to arc the ball, use a soft touch, and commit to the shot. And it is low enough that the very best athletes can rise above it, which is where every spectacular moment in the sport comes from. Move it up 2 feet and you delete the dunk. Move it down and you delete the difficulty. There is a second, much less romantic reason it will never move. Concrete. There are millions of hoops in the world, bolted to school walls, sunk into playgrounds, welded into arenas. Every one of them is set to that height. Change the number and you have not changed a rule. You have made every backboard on the planet obsolete overnight. So the sport is anchored to an accident. 10 feet is not the right height. It is the height that got there first, and then everything else was built to fit it. Which is worth remembering the next time you see something in sport that looks precisely engineered. The pitch you play on, the distance you throw from, the height you aim at. Some of it is science. A surprising amount of it is a decision somebody made quickly, on a cold afternoon, because the building was already that shape. The greatest game in the world is played against a balcony rail. Now you know.